What's up, YouTube? It's Mr. Ferguson back once again here from Central North Carolina. Thank you guys so much for checking out the video today. I hope that it's somewhat informative and will encourage you or help you with your preparation for we're now coming into springtime weather. So at the time I'm recording this, guys, which is a Tuesday morning, it is cool. It's the upper 30s. I've still got the sweatshirt on and a t-shirt underneath. It is a little bit of a light breeze, cloudy. We just had the blood moon earlier this morning. After today, moving into Wednesday and into you know, the next 14 days, we've got some crazy weather coming up. It's really going to feel like we're going to jump right into summer, which is not abnormal here in Central North Carolina. After today, we're going to jump into the mid 70s tomorrow. It's going to be 75 degrees, and then we're going to jump into the 80s for 3 days, the lower 80s from 50 degrees. Yesterday it was, I think, a high of 48. Today it's going to be a high of 55. We're going to jump in the mid 70s tomorrow, so we're going to jump 20 degrees, and then we're going to jump up even higher into the mid 80s. It's going to be downright hot after coming out of a cool winter, and then we're going to dip down just a little bit into the 70s, and the outlook looks like, and the latter 14-day trend looks like we're going to be in the upper 50s, which is probably around more normal. But the point of all of that, I tell you all of that to say we're moving into a different type of weather pattern. It doesn't look like we're going to be getting down into no more of the 40s possibly as we move into March, and this is the time of year when we start making that trend upwards. So we've talked about pre-emergent a lot the past here on the channel. We did our pre-emergent, the last video I released on Friday. We did that. If you're looking at pre-emergent, go back and watch those videos. But when do I do it, Mr. Ferguson? We've got videos all on that to remind you. It's going to help you to prevent weeds in your fescue lawn. And I want to be clear, if you've got warm season grass and cool season grass, you need to know about that first. So there may be different amounts or different strategies for warm season grass versus cool season grass. Here in Central North Carolina, a lot of people have warm season grass. We're talking about GCI turf type tall fescue is what I'm dealing with here in my lawn. So everything I'm talking about in terms of tall fescue, cool season grass. Now is the time to do it. It's, you know, don't wait, say, oh, I missed it, I'm too late, it's over, you know, it's 56 degrees average soil temp, I missed it, dang. No, you can still put down pre-emergent. I would encourage you to do so. You may have let some of that stuff germinate, but putting it down, you're still going to prevent a lot, because if you catch it between the 55 and 65 degree soil temperature marks, you're still going to stop a whole lot of weeds in your lawn. So please don't feel like just because you missed it when we are doing it doesn't mean that it's a waste of time. I would still do your prediamine. We want to talk about fertilizer now. That's the next thing on the list. So as I say this, I'll take you off and just give you a little tour of the backyard. Number one, when we're talking about fertilizer, I'm going to be putting down a granular fertilizer this year. In my house, I've ordered a 3000 from GCI Turf. I like supporting Pete. He's actually doing a contest right now. All the things you bought from GCI, you have a chance to go on a golf trip. That's if you play golf and you're interested, go check that out on Pete's channel. But when we're talking about fertilizer, the very first thing I like to do coming out of winter, as you guys have seen, I did a video on this a few weeks back, but it's, you know, the fact that we got gumballs everywhere. There's just trash. There's leaves, there's sticks, there's deer poop. I mean, it's just rough looking, right? And so you can see all the gumballs. So the first thing I like to do when we're talking about, okay, we're finally starting to get into some decent temperatures, is cleaning all of this lawn up. So this is what obviously we planted all this in the fall. We did several mows. Again, we've got, you know, darker color fescue grass. We got lighter color fescue grass. And then we've got here back on my wood line here, we've got branches that have fallen from high wind days. We've got gumballs everywhere. And we just need to take a rake, or I mean, you can do your blower, but really that's more for the leaves. This is going to be more of a just take time, put your headphones in, and just get all of these gumballs up. Do you absolutely have to? No, but it just makes it look so much better. If you have time in the afternoon before, it's going to be a nice warm, maybe it's going to be a 78 degrees, so obviously in the evening it's going to cool down into the 60s. Come out after dinner, work some of that off, and just rake some of your stuff back into the edge of the woods. That's what I like to do. Take my time. I'm not in a rush. I'm I'm not trying to squeeze it in, and just take time to just kind of clean up, or give it a comb through, and take that rake and just come back and forth and just get all of this trash and push it all back into the woods and clean all this up just a little bit. They got the bike laying back there, just stuff that looks janky. We're going to fix this, right? And so once we clean that up, then we're really setting ourselves up for the next, granular fertilizer push, which is what we want to kind of talk about today. When is the correct time? So what I like to say as a disclaimer before we get into this topic is I do enjoy, as a 40-year-old guy, I use this for work and I enjoy using it for lawn care, and that is AI. But AI is not the know-all, be-all, live and die by AI. We have to be careful about that, and that's where I say we've already learned our lesson here on this channel about, hey, how much of this should I put down? It's very difficult to trust AI in that, because you're talking about the soil temps, the weather, your grass type, what type of weed you may be applying to kill, what you may be applying to fertilize. There's so many different factors. If you don't tell AI all the information, you're very likely you could get bad rates. And so I would not trust it yet with that type of stuff. But when we're talking about strategy, when we're talking about dead-on information that's been around for a long time, it's like an encyclopedia or a dictionary. It can be that type of tool for us as DIY home care, lawn care owners. So I simply asked it, when is recommend timing for first spring fertilizer of tall fescue? And so what it came back with is late February to early March. Hey, that's where we are right now. It feels like it's about time, right? And looking at the 14-day outlook, it really looks like it's about time to do that as well. And it talks about when soil temps reach 50 to 55 degrees. So that would be almost in line with when we did our prediamine. And then later on, it talks about tall fescue, heavier feedings typically in fall, light spring feedings. I would agree with that. And it later goes on to talk about why that is the case. We like to really go heavier in fall. Why? Because typically we're planting our tall fescue in the fall. And when you're planting it in the fall, you're really trying to push nitrogen, you're really trying to push fertilizer in the fall to get the grass established. So that's why we're going hard and heavier with fertilizer in fall, in that September, October, and even into maybe early November when we did green effect and stuff. We're really pushing it, grow, mow, to get the roots established, because once winter sets in and it stops, now that's it. You've got a certain amount of time to work with, right? And so now moving into spring, we don't want to push it as much, and we'll talk about that in a second. Important for tall fescue, especially in North Carolina. Tall fescue prefers that. Too much nitrogen in spring pushes excess top growth. You do not want to be out here, especially moving from 55 degrees into 82 this week. If you're putting down a heavy shot of nitrogen, and you're really, this thing's going to take off and it's going to start grow. You're going to be out there and it's going to be a nightmare. You're going to be mowing a whole lot. You're going to have top growth coming up like crazy, and now you're going to be out here in 80-degree weather when it was just 50. It's going to be so hot to you, your body's trying to acclimate to the weather, and here you're out here mowing, you're like, oh my goodness. Weakens roots before the summer heat and increases brown patch risk, which we know is brutal here, and that is absolutely true. In the North Carolina area, putting down too much nitrogen, you can be susceptible to brown patch, which is fungus. And when we're talking about jumping into 82 with rain, you're talking about warming soil temperatures, moisture, and hot outside air temperatures. Now we're starting to jump into possible fungus territory. So you want to be careful. And apparently when we do too much fertilizer, then we can be more susceptible to brown patch. And brown patch is those brown areas that start like a little hurricane. It may be green in the middle, and then it's just brown and it starts spreading, and you may have these little crop circle looking things in your yard. You don't want it. So let's not go completely crazy on heavy nitrogen. So how much do we want to apply? Now, this is not telling me put this amount down right now, but it's giving us a general idea. So what AI is suggesting for spring is a half a pound of nitrogen per 1,000 square feet. So, and it goes into different type of, 24011 fertilizer. We bought a 3000 from GCI, which is actually a mix of urea and slow release and instant take of urea into the turf. So it's a mix of both. Steven's strategy, so it's talking about me. Here's what it's saying for me. Spray prediamine, we've already done that. Care about, I'd recommend pre-emergent down first, which we've already done. Wait for 2 or 3 weeks, and then light nitrogen at mid to late March. I tend to agree with that. I've never really not fertilized because I just put down my pre-emergent. It's been so spread apart that it's been different. There's not a rush to fertilize. I think I'm not going to immediately, because it's going to be in the 70s, immediately throw down my fertilizer like tomorrow. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to give time for the grass to kind of wake up to this warm weather that's coming. Give it a couple days, but possibly by the weekend, yeah, I may go ahead and apply my fertilizer. I don't know, because it looks like we'll be in the 80s at that point, and we're going to sustain around the upper 50s in the next 14 days. So do I think we're okay to put fertilizer down? It looks like we are compared to what the temperature outlook is. That can change, however, but it's saying about 1/2 pound per 1,000 as a rough guess, and I would tend to agree. I think that sounds about right. We don't want to go crazy, but 1/2 pound sounds great. And then I told it what I had, and then it took the 30-0 and started talking about how many pounds per 1,000 and really kind of tried to narrow it down. But again, we take those rates with a grain of salt. When to apply, soil temps consistently 50 to 55 in the soil. So lining up to, and likely into mid-March. So it's just going based off historical data. Historical data tells us around mid-March, that's when our soil temps are around 50 to 55. We're having a little warming trend here at the beginning of March. So this can fluctuate towards the beginning of March. It can fluctuate if we're cooler to the end of March. So AI does not know all things and will tell all things. And then it asked, hey, if you even tell me what type of spreader you have, I can tell you based on that spreader. It can be a great tool. Based on your earthway, this is what the setting should be. If you have questions on that, AI can help you. I was using Chat GPT here. Grok is also another one on Twitter or X. There's tons of them out there. So anyways, the point being, we're getting into time to think about, okay, when do I need to apply my fertilizer? And so I would say, based on North Carolina, for my fellow North Carolinians, then it would be sometime in the month of March. But what you're really looking at is the soil temps. If you're already done your pre-emergent and the soil temps are around 50, 55, you can begin thinking about that now. But I would challenge you, don't put down too much. Don't go crazy. I've done that in the past. I've really wanted to darken it up, and I will say it will also feed the weeds. If you're not doing pre-emergent but you're going to do fertilizer, you are going to fertilize your weeds. So that's why we would do pre-emergent first, give it some time, let it soak in, make sure that you're watering in your pre-emergent. Then let's look at 1/2 pound per 1,000 to start off with our fertilizer. Maybe you want to go a little bit less, maybe you want to go 1/4 pound and then turn around in 2 weeks and do another 1/4 pound. You're very welcome to do that. It's your lawn, do what you want to do. I'm not too crazy about getting out and mowing immediately, but I do think that putting down a little bit of fertilizer here in the next several days would be totally fine if you want to. Timing it to a rainfall may be a good idea as well, to where you don't have to waste your city water like myself. We're timing it to where natural rain will water it in and hopefully not wash it away. So hopefully this has been a little bit helpful for you. Leave your comments below. What fertilizer are you guys going with? I saw when Pete was going to contest, I want to contribute toward the contest. The more you buy on his website over the past 2 years, I think, you're more eligible for the contest. So I was like, hey, I might as well buy my fertilizer from Pete. He is going away from the protein more towards his own brand. There's a 30-00. I think he's got a 24-00. I will link some GCI fertilizers below if you're interested in that. With just straight fertilizers. We've got some links down here to pre-emergents if you need that as well. The pre-emergents have changed a little bit too. I can't find any of the small 5-ounce bottles I was showing you guys. The only thing I see is bigger bottles, and if you buy that big bottle, you're good for 15 years, man. I mean, you can share with your neighbor, throw in if you need to. Those bottles are so big. So we've got links in the description below if you'd be so kind to use those. It helps the channel. But we are definitely, after today, after this video is releasing, it's a warm day and I am not mad about it. May even see a little bit of green up from the Bermuda at the golf courses if this sustains for a long period like they're saying it might. So God bless you guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a fantastic Wednesday. And we'll see you on the next lawn care video here in Central North Carolina. God bless.